Welcome in, everybody. We got Thursday Night Football, Week 8, Vikings and Rams. And before we go any further, let's take a second to celebrate. We hit the Monday Night Football parlay. Congrats. Enjoy your green if you tell. I hope you guys watched that one. But that's in the past. That doesn't matter. Now we got more money to make today. It's a new week. And this Vikings Rams game has me intrigued. I'm not going to lie. If this game stays close, which I think it should, I think it's going to be a bit of a dogfight. This has a lot of potential to the point where I won't want to keep my eyes off the TV. So I'll break everything down for you guys. I'll give you some analysis, and then we will get into the parlay at the end. Welcome in, everybody. Like I said, we got Vikings and Rams, and as you guys see, JJ is not able to be with me to co-host this today, but I think this should be the last one he misses. But regardless, we got money to make. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet, very simple. I'm going to break everything down real quick, give you the need to know, and then we will get into the parlay, and it's a good one. So the first thing I want to touch on is the Vikings defense is first in DVOA in both pass and rush. And they had a great start to the season. I guess it shouldn't be that surprising, but that's still really fucking impressive. On the Rams offense side, they are 11th in rushing DVOA and 21st in pass DVOA. Take that with an asterisk. We know Kupp and Puka haven't been healthy, but they are today. So, how are we attacking this Rams offense? Well, I think Kyren Williams is in a decent enough spot. We got a McVay-led offense on a short week at home. Vikings might not have enough time to game plan, and on top of that, while they are still good at defending runs inside the tackle, they are significantly better at defending them outside the tackle. So that is something that Kyren Williams can take advantage of. We know the volume is going to be there, and I wouldn't be surprised if they are able to control the clock with him. I don't think he'll break off a bunch of 20-yard runs, but they'll be able to use him in the spots that they should. In the pass game, it's Cooper Kupp. I'm going to be completely honest. The Vikings do not defend wide receiver ones well. That's really the only place that they allow a lot of production to. And the thing that's really worth noting is they play a lot of two high safety and they blitz a lot. And by the way, Cooper Kupp has the highest targets per route run against two high safety looks and the second highest targets per route run against blitz in the NFL. Not on his team, in the NFL. So the season's young. He only played, I think, 3 games so far. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but still worth noting. So that's all you need to know there, except for the fact that Puka's supposed to play, but I don't really know how healthy he actually is. He's probably on limited snaps. His efficiency is probably going to be limited. I think this is just kind of a do or die game for the Rams in terms of whether they're going to tank the season or make a late push for the playoffs. But on the Vikings offense side, I think there's a lot of opportunity. And the reason why is because the Rams defense on DVOA is 24th against the pass and 26th against the rush. So defensively, they don't appear good on paper. However, I think things get really interesting because Aaron Jones historically struggled against Thursday night games. And on top of that, even without that history, it's a short week where he was just coming off an injury against a Lions game where they had a dogfight and he was playing snaps, more snaps than I think he was projected to because they needed him to, and he was playing so well. But now coming off of that game, there's a short week. He didn't get to rest much, and I don't know how much he's going to be able to really be used in that same manner. And on the flip side, I don't know how much I trust Ty Johnson to pick up the slack. He's had his moments, and I'm sure he will have his moments throughout the season. But if we're relying on him to say, hey, Aaron Jones, we need to rest you a little bit more, we're going to go lean on Ty Johnson, I don't think that that's one that I feel comfortable leaning on. So if there's some inefficiency or more inefficiencies than usual in the run game, it wouldn't surprise me. Not that I'm expecting it, but the circumstances are there for that to play out if it does. But in the pass game, they're not good or bad against wide receiver ones, so Justin Jefferson could have a good game. But I think where we can really tackle the passing side of the Vikings is Jordan Addison. And the reason why is because they're bottom 5 in the deep ball. They're the second worst play action defense in the NFL, and I think they're bottom 6 against wide receiver twos. Minnesota runs a lot of play action, and when they do, and him and Jefferson are both on the field, Jordan Addison is the target more often than not. So I think that is something that we can very easily capitalize on. The hard part for me is if the run game is inefficient, I think the game suddenly becomes very reliant on how much Jordan Addison can pick up the slack. And we know he can, but we don't know how consistent he is at this point of the season to really rely on that. So we could see a scenario where he has a great game, 80 yards, Vikings win by 2 scores comfortably. But if the run game isn't efficient and Addison has a key drop or doesn't have that splash play or two that they need him to, suddenly the game gets really interesting. So I think Addison is kind of the X factor in this game. He's in a great spot. It's just a matter of him coming through. Jalen Naylor is also an interesting one because his routes have been all over the place in terms of his route share. When Addison first came back, he hardly saw the field. Then he saw 50% of snaps. Then he saw 87% of snaps, or route share, sorry. But are we really going to depend on the Vikings playing 3 wide receiver sets that frequently? If Kevin O'Connell it wouldn't surprise me that much, but that's a lot. So we'll see what happens, especially since TJ Hawkinson isn't going to play. And he was maybe going to play, and then they just ruled him out about an hour ago. So we'll see what they do with that. But I think Jalen Naylor is, I wouldn't be risking much on him. But if his route share stays high, he might have some edge. So that's everything that I think you guys need to know about that game. Let's get into the parlay. So, first leg, we're going Los Angeles Rams money line, and we got a few reasons. One, like I said, I could see a very easy scenario where the Vikings rush attack is not that efficient. And if it does, I think it's going to open up the whole game for the Rams, and I think they actually control the clock. Two, this is a weird system, and it's not the entire reason I'm taking this, but it is something that's piqued my interest. Teams the week after they play the Lions have been horrible this season. I don't just mean they're losing. I don't just mean they're not covering the spread. I mean consistent blowouts. The only one who didn't get blowed out was Seattle Seahawks, and they lost by 9 to the Giants, so that honestly might be worse than a blowout. So if that continues here, then that would go against the Vikings, and the Vikings would get hammered. So we'll see what happens. And the last one on top of that is that short spreads with a Thursday Night Football home underdog. They have a pretty good system. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but it was something that I liked. And with McVay here and the circumstances of who they both played in their previous games, I think it makes a lot of sense. Next up, Jordan Addison, 50 plus receiving yards. I said he was the X factor. He's the play action guy. He's the deep ball guy. And both of those things fit this matchup perfectly. I see no reason why he shouldn't have a good game outside of just a simply bad performance by him catching the ball. And lastly, Kyren Williams over 14.5 receiving yards. I didn't touch on this as much earlier, but if the Vikings are able to get to pressure and the fact that they run too high, both of those things are very favorable for just quick running back dump offs. And they're also top or bottom 11 in both screen plays and just passes to the backfield. So I think this is a scenario where Kyren Williams might break off 1, 2, maybe even a third reception. So we'll see what happens. But you get a boost on FanDuel. You can get this at plus 909 with a boost, 25 into 250. How crazy and how awesome would it be if we go back to back on these primetime lays? I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it's going to happen. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't. So make sure you lock in this slip. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. And next time you see me, I'll have JJ by my side, and we'll be giving out some more sharp analysis for Sunday Night Football. So take care, and I'll see you guys soon.